I stare at the mountains, trying to imagine my dad then. He was 8 years old, a year older than I am, 3 years older than Thomas. We stop while Thomas pulls up his socks. They always slide down inside his boots. It's bad to stop, though. When there's no sound of our footsteps crunching the dirt, I can feel the ghosts watching us. The ghosts of the 10,000 people who once lived here. I hear them whispering. Was your camp better than this one? I asked Mom, speaking so there'll be a real sound. Way back then, she was in a camp too. She lifts the silk flowers and smells them, though they have no smell. It was colder in Wyoming, where I was, she says. The snow was deeper. The wind is gusting, blowing ice prickles on my face. Mom's flowers rustle. I see a piece of twisted tree root on the ground and pick it up. This will be perfect. Look, there's the monument, Thomas says, running ahead. The monument is tall and thin and white, an obelisk, Dad calls it. It looks so weird standing out here in the middle of nothingness. On it, black Japanese script, and the words, Memorial to the Dead. It marks the cemetery that lies behind a wire fence. We go in through an opening. People have left offerings at the monument, held down by pieces of wood or stones. There are origami birds, their wings trapped under little rocks. A broken cup holds crumbs of a rice cake. There are bits of colored glass, some coins. A bare cherry tree branch is stuck inside one of the cracks in the base. I turn my head and see my grandfather's grave among the others, circled round with stones. He died in this camp. The doctor said it was from pneumonia, but my father says grandfather began dying the day the soldiers came for them, to put them in buses and bring them here. Grandfather was a tuna fisherman. He had his own boat, arigato, which means thank you in Japanese. He was always thankful for his good life. My father never found out afterward what happened to the boat or to grandmother and grandfather's house. He said the government took those things and grandfather's dignity along with them when they brought him here, so far from the sea. Dad told me that while grandfather was in the camp, he went out every morning to check the sky and the clouds and smell the weather. A good day for fishing, he'd say. Instead of a headstone, grandfather has rocks piled one on top of the other, like a small tower. His name, Shiro Iwasaki, and the date, 1943, are painted on top of the stone. Dad lifts away a tumbleweed that is blown inside the circle of rocks around the grave. Mom lays the flowers where the tumbleweed was, and Dad weighs their stems down with a heavy rock. We stand looking at the purple and yellow and scarlet silk flowers against the brown dirt. Wind moves the petals. I'm cold, Thomas says, jumping up and down. We can go now, Dad says. Wait. I take a small, folded piece of cloth from my pocket. What is it? Dad looks closer. It's my old Cub Scout neckerchief, he says, and turns to Mom. I thought my uniform went to the Goodwill with the rest of the stuff. I took the scarf out of the bag, I say. I wanted to bring it to Grandfather. Dad looks at me for a moment, then nods. I shake out the folds. I put the faded yellow neckerchief in front of the stone tower where Grandfather's name is painted and hold it in place with the tree root. But why is Laura doing this? Tom asks. It's not Grandfather's. Because I told her a story once. Dad's voice comes from some remembering place. When they came for us, my father said to me, Koharu, put on your Cub Scout uniform. That way, they will know you are a true American and they will not take you. I put it on, but they took me anyway. They took all of us. I brought the scarf to Grandfather because he was a true American, I say. Dad nods. Thank you, Laura. Dark clouds pile around the mountaintops. Night is coming. We huddle close. We should leave, Mom says. Dad holds her arm as we walk. I was wrong, I whisper. Wrong. Sometimes, in the end, there is no right or wrong, Dad says. It is just a thing that happened long years ago. A thing that cannot be changed. We stop while Thomas pulls up his socks. I look back. I never knew my grandfather, but I love him, and I don't want to leave him here. The two ends of the neckerchief have come loose and flutter free. I can see the top of the tree root. It looks like a boat. A boat with sails skimming the wind, heading away from this unhappy place. A boat moving on. Afterward. In 1942, 2 months after the Japanese bombed United States warships at Pearl Harbor, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9066. It stated that all people of Japanese ancestry living on the west coast of the United States must be placed in relocation camps. Many of those interned were American citizens. Manzanar in Eastern California was the first of 10 war relocation centers. It had a population of approximately 10,000. In this story, it is 1972, and the Iwasakis go back to visit the camp where the father was interned for 3.5 years. The Iwasaki family is fictional, but there are thousands of American citizens of Japanese ancestry with the same kinds of memories. Manzanar was closed in 1945, and its buildings were sold at auction. The area where the camp stood is now a National Historic Site. The small cemetery is there.